What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new Civilization 5 National Ideas AI Only episode. I don't know why I said brand new. Got a bit excited, but there we go. It's another episode. It is a brand new episode. It is not a brand new series. But we will continue, as you suggested. I think there was a bit of confusion. I didn't want to end the game. I was just saying we would do the results and then maybe move to more of a highlights form to speed it up. I think some people were a bit worried I was going to end it. That was not the case. We will go as far as we possibly can until it just stops, or once it starts taking 5-6 hours to do 20 turns, that's normally when we stop, which does happen. Around turn 400, 500, it can begin to take a ridiculously long time. But yeah, we'll keep going for now. I mean, we went through like 13, 14, 15 turns last episode, so we're only 3 days away from 250 or whatever, 350, so that's fine. So we'll just get to 300, do the info addicts today, and then continue. I say that we might not be able to open the info addicts. That's a good point, but hopefully we will. But here we go. What a start to the episode. That is what we've been waiting for. Austria and Milan teaming up against the French, and look at this invasion from Austria. Paratroopers out, and I said they didn't look ready for it, but never mind. The paratroopers all coming in, taking so much territory, and with Spain still at war with France, this is going to be tough for the French, and it could be huge implications for the game. If Austria is to grab take loads of land here, they're certainly climbing the rankings. I still think they would be a bit further to go. This is starting to look a little bit more menacing. Poland, before I was saying they didn't look like they were ready to invade anyone, they were just sort of spread out. Now they look like they could attack multiple people at the same time, so they've definitely rebuilt. But we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously Assyria is just come out of some wars. We'll see when they next declare one. And there we go, turn 298. It's about 2 minutes per turn. But we'll see what Austria can do here. This should be... Oh, and they have an atomic bomb. Okay, that is the first nuke I've actually spotted. Maybe some other civs have one. There seems to be a very clear lack of oil on this map, because there is not many civs with oil. I don't know if anyone else has atomic bombs. I haven't seen any so far. Carthage there also under attack with the Papal State taking it, but they've got to protect it still. To Assyria, no, don't see any nukes here. Egypt, any? Maybe there's even less uranium on the map. Poland, oh no, never mind. Poland has just 8 reasonable in the Balkans. Never mind. That's what. So the rest of the world combined has 1, and Austria has 8 based on those sort of brief little look around. Seems fair. And immediately Austria very close to taking Antwerp, as Porto is retaken by Portugal, but Morocco now seems to be taking control of the sea battle, which is not so good for Portugal. But yeah, the main focus is here on Austria and Milan. There is sadly some mountains in the way, but that's a very good ally to at least have. I mean, if they just work together for the whole game, that would probably go quite well. And there it is, within 2 turns of the war being declared, Antwerp falls to Austria with no real defense from the French, and Amsterdam will also fall probably next turn. So that is a brutal start from Austria. It won't affect the info addicts too much if they actually do open. I won't get ahead of myself, but if they do open, because they weren't opening before, then it would give Austria not a huge advantage, So obviously turn 350 now becomes very good for Austria, very bad for France. But it can all change. Poland could invade someone. It can all change very quickly. As we just saw, it was sort of slowing down a little bit, and then boom, we have probably the biggest war yet in terms of its importance. Because also, not only are we going to see Austria have some success here in the north, Spain may start to make some more progress in the south as more French units move up north. So we're going to see France get stretched more, and that's going to make it easier for Spain as well. And of course, I guess Spain's not likely to fight Milan either. Here you go, most technologies. Just in case we don't get the info addicts, we'll look at this here. Poland is 4 ahead with 69. 65 then for Austria, Milan, Assyria and Egypt. That's a very close race in 4th place. And obviously the benefit, Milan we'll be getting those technologies for a lot less science than the other three, with a lot less cities, so that's quite interesting. Then it's 2 down to Morocco. Papal States also up there. Then it is the Garamantes, Portugal and Spain filling out the top 10. But here we go. I'm just going to save. That tends to give us a better chance of this working out. So there we go. I'm going to save. I'm going to do every trick in the book. Look, we're going to go stare into the empty ocean. We're going to toggle to the strategic view, zoom in the corner. It worked. Here you go then. Score. Poland dominating at the moment. It doesn't matter too much. Religion gives you a huge boost, so they're probably a bit further ahead than some. You can see Egypt here were second for a long time. They look really good here, but they have fizzled behind a red line and a white line, which I'm guessing Assyria, Austria, and then there's also sort of a brown line, which I'm guessing could be Spain. I'm not really sure. Where is Spain? Don't even know where they are, but Spain is not. Oh, there they are. It is Spain. So that's sort of the leading pack. So that's Spain, 5th, Egypt, Austria, Assyria, Poland as sort of the leaders. There's a couple more here, sort of the best of the rest. That appears to be Morocco and France. So there you go. Maybe we've underestimated some civs, but it's again score. Religion's a heavy boost. Can't really tell. But here we go then. Populations. Poland leads the way with 92.6 million. Then it's a big drop to Assyria at 50 million, who are very close then to Egypt at 49 million. Quite a contrast between those three then. Then it's a bit more of a drop down to Spain at 33.9 million, 28.5 for Austria. And it's Morocco and Papal States with the rest of the 20 millions. Portugal and Sweden both with 19 million, 17 million for Scotland in 10th place. Crop yield, Poland leads the way. Then it's Assyria, then Austria, Egypt and Spain. That top 5 in the order of score. Don't think it completely correlates to crop yield, but there you go. Could do. Morocco, Sweden, France. Sweden could have also been that blue line on the score, but I'm guessing it was France, but who knows. And then Papal States, Garamantes. Fill out that one. Here's a big one then. Production. Poland leads the way, not by as much as you'd think. See, they are dominating crop yield and population pretty heavily, right? But they're not so dominant here. It's only 180 million tons, which is still a lot, but it's not as big a lead. And Assyria's right up there in second. Austria is actually doing very good in third as well, not too far behind Assyria in terms of levels of production. And then the gap to Spain isn't too bad either, but from Austria. Of course, Spain, all those coastal cities do have some bonus production. That does help from the beginning of the game. Other civs might have that too now if they pick that exploration path. Egypt then in 5th, and then there is probably the biggest gap actually down to France in 6th, then Morocco, Sweden, the Garamantes and Byzantium. I'm pretty sure every civ apart from the Netherlands has already appeared in the top 10 of something. That's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. The only one that hasn't is Milan, I believe. And maybe we know the Papal States of Milan, are in the technologies one in the top 10. So I believe the Netherlands are the only civ right now to have not been in any top 10, because Scotland came 10th here. Carthage died recently. So yeah, there you go. Every single civ has already been in a top 10. That's very rare. So that's pretty cool. And I'm probably missing someone, so sorry to that. sorry to whoever's been forgotten. Poland leads the way for economy as well, a much bigger lead here. Then it is Assyria, then Spain. A big lead between Assyria and Spain as well. Then Egypt. Of course, wars maybe hurting Spain a little bit. Egypt there as well. Austria, the Papal States, Morocco, Sweden, France, and Scotland again. Land area. Poland leads the way at 4.5 million square kilometers. As I said, I don't think I got any comments. It's a bit biased because sea tiles count and the tiles you get beyond the mountain ranges count. So I think we might stop using land area. I don't know if anyone has an opinion on that. I just think it's a bit harsh in this game. You've got civs, particularly Poland, but also Egypt, Morocco, who are getting a lot of territory in the inaccessible area of the map. And then you also have obviously the coastal civs, like Portugal. Over half of their tiles are actually sea tiles, so that doesn't seem too fair. But either way, there you go. Assyria in 2nd place, Egypt in 3rd, Austria 4th, and that is going to of course grow. They'll probably overtake Egypt if they keep beating France. Morocco, Spain, France of course, who are dropping, probably below Sweden very soon, Papal States and the Garamantes. Military manpower, Poland with the most soldiers at the moment, 1.27 million. Austria then in 2nd with 1 million. Assyria in third with 850,000, Egypt 769,000, Spain then in fifth with 642,000, the Papal States and Milan 6th and 7th, 483 and 478. I wonder if those two are like working together. Maybe if they did look, they'd be 880. They would be the third biggest army if they combined at 950k. That's pretty cool for Italy. Morocco then 8th with 407, Sweden 403, and even Byzantium 392 in 10th place. They've all got pretty big armies. Portugal's is very small, and obviously the Netherlands are not really. They're the one outlier here. The rest of the civs are all actually pretty good. It's just the Netherlands, sadly, a little outlier in the corner, but even they're not that far off Portugal. They're only about half the size. Social policies then, who's got the most? Someone's only got 13. Yeah, that's the Netherlands. Austria with 26 leading the way, then Egypt with 25, 24 for Poland and the Papal States, 23 for Assyria and Spain, 22 for France, 20 for Milan, Byzantium and the Garamantes. Is anyone on negative happiness? Nope, they're all positive for now. Poland with the most. Technologies, we've just seen that list. Net gold. Okay, Carthage is losing a little bit of money, but they're dead, so that's reasonable. And Austria are losing 142, so they're the only ones running a massive deficit right now. But if we look at treasury, they're probably fine. 5k, so they can run that for probably another 50 turns. I'm not trying to do the maths really quickly in my head, it's fine. However wrong I probably was. Cities, Poland has the most at 26, but Assyria has really eaten into that lead that they had with 23 now. 18 for Austria and growing, 17 for Spain, 15 for Morocco and Egypt, 14 for France, 12 for Sweden, 8 for the Papal State and 7 for the Garamantes. But of course the movements for Austria and Sweden right now will definitely change. Austria and France, sorry, will definitely change that. You'll see France drop, other civs rise, and Austria will probably go up as well, and Spain could start to go up as well at the expense of France. So there's still a lot to be played for here. It's going to be still, someone needs to do something big still to catch Poland in the next 50 turns, but a lot is second place, for example, and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, every other place is very much up for grabs, I think, based on what we've seen. Maybe Assyria has the edge, but Austria seems to be right in the mix a lot of the time. Science output, Poland again leading Assyria, then Austria, Egypt, Morocco, Spain, the Papal States, Sweden, France, and then Milan again. Culture output, Assyria actually leads the way ahead of Poland. Then it's Austria, Egypt, France, Morocco, Papal States, Spain, Byzantium, and Garamantes. Most wonders, Austria and Egypt tied with 9. Both, of course, started with the tradition policy tree. Egypt, then it's France and Spain on 6, 3 for Scotland and Poland. It's very weird, they're going in groups of 3. Of course, France's 6 could very soon be split between Spain and Austria. Papal States, Morocco, Sweden, Milan, the final ones with a wonder. Do we look at any of these influence? I mean, there's a few influential civs. We don't use these ones in the scoring, of course. Great works, 20 for France, 20 for the Papal States, 17 for Egypt, 16 for Assyria, Austria, 15 for Morocco, 11 for Byzantium, 10 for Portugal, 9 for Spain, the Garamantes, and Milan. Did the Netherlands not get in a single one? That's very sad. I felt, didn't they get in one? Did they get in one? Did they? No. Sorry, Netherlands. Maybe they did. Maybe they did at the top. No. I feel, yeah, they're the only ones. So that's a shame. But that was obviously pretty likely to happen. Trade routes then. 8 for Scotland, Egypt, and Poland. 7 for the majority of the rest, and a couple of 6s. Although that's Spain, France. They've probably been pillaged. Garamantes are in some wars too. So it's not that they couldn't have this many, it's just they've probably been destroyed, or there's no one to go to. Tourism then, the final one. Egypt leads the way here, ahead of the Papal States. Then it's Austria, France, Assyria, Morocco, Spain, Poland there in 8th. This is really big, because this is the sort of category that really messes up the results sometimes. Because if you come first every single time, as Poland could in theory do, nearly, and then, let's say Assyria, I think they were second the most times, come second every single time. In our point system, Poland will get 10 points every time, Assyria gets 9. So by the end of it, there might be a 15-point lead. So you only need a couple of categories like this one, where Assyria gets 10 and Poland gets 2. I know that's exaggerated here because Assyria is not doing great either. That really boost you up the scores. Like this makes up for like 5 rankings. Just this is difference. So just be careful, Poland. Just be careful. and then we'll quickly just do this while we're here. We have the ideologies. It does seem like the autocracy civs and the freedom civs not having a good time. Order leading the way. And finally, religion overview. Most popular religions, it's still a big four, but Catholicism struggling a bit. Meanwhile, Buddhism from Spain is the biggest, and then Eastern Orthodoxy in second, Poland's Confucianism in third, Protestantism's doing okay in the British Isles, and then Islam from Morocco. That's not even in all the Moroccan cities. I guess it's next to Spain, which doesn't help you too much. And there you go. We continue. 50 turns till the results, and like I said, I think some people got a bit confused. We will keep going beyond that. It's just, it will have to probably be in highlights, or I show you turn 400, turn 450, and by then it does really slow down, so maybe can't get it much further, but we'll try our best. And there we go, Amsterdam going. Now those two are fairly undefended, so I feel like the real battle starts now. Although saying that, France hasn't got many units here either, and Austria's already power dropping in. Could be worrying. I can't believe Spain's still making no progress. That's France. I can see France being like, yeah, we don't mind dying to Austria, but we don't give anything to Spain. That would be quite funny. As Assyria enters the information era for themselves. Sweden. I don't know what Sweden can do, to be honest. They could probably fight Portugal and Spain and get away with it, without too many units coming up here to bother them. But yeah, you're not going to attack Poland or Austria. I guess if they... Spain City, here's the problem, but if you've got Dortmund somehow, you could probably have a good fight with Scotland, even if there's no real... Scotland is pretty strong themselves, but it would be interesting, right? At least you could have a cool fight. Poland completes the Great Firewall, so they will not... At least the only way we're catching up with them in technology for the others is when they hit 80. It's obviously a disadvantage. Of course, if multiple civs are on 80 at the end, we won't use that category because it's not really fair on the civs that got there first. But yeah, Poland will get to 80 first, and no one's going to be stealing their technologies now with that Great Firewall. You thinking about it? Now, if they invaded Austria now, I would be sad. I think I picked Spain to win, but and to be fair, top 5 is probably my best I've ever done. I know in the last series I think I picked the winner, but that was like a 9 civ mini game. I'm not gonna count that. It was kind of not obvious, but I think if you really, there was like 3 or 4 civs who could really win it, and so it was just like a 25% chance of the favourites if you pick the ones that were in the corners. But here. I'd be happy with the top 5 for Spain. They could be doing better, which is disappointing. They have just declared war on the Netherlands. That's not what I wanted to see. Not really sure they're going to do much here either, which is a shame, but it's fine. Not too much progress yet. There's actually not much artillery at all, so I was just going to say Austria's not really moved it in. They don't really have any. They have a couple. They must just, I think they're just brute forcing their way into these cities with paratroopers, which is fair enough. Bold strategy. France also declares war on the Netherlands. Just, what have they done to you? What have they done to you, France? We'll see. It looks like French Ireland, or what they've recovered in Ireland, is also under a bit of pressure. Could see some of this going back to Spain. And then maybe that will trigger the fall of France. It tends to just hit a point where they just collapse, which we might get to. Byzantium v the Netherlands. Netherlands and Sweden piecing out. There you go. At least someone doesn't want to war with the Netherlands anymore. Why is there Egyptian pikemen and a Carthaginian quinquerem up here? I have no idea. And there you go. Yes, as I sort of said, Nottingham, it was no health, completely exposed. So Spain does sneak in there, and they should be able to get full control of Ireland back next turn, which is great, as Morocco recaptures the city of Porto. Is there any other like wars that are just... This one's been going... This is, I think, all 3 of these, Papal States, Garamantes, Morocco, I think they might all be at war with each other. So it's just a mess. Like, all the units are just dying. Egypt is still pushing the Garamantes, but they've definitely slowed down. But yeah, apart from that, everywhere else is peaceful. Byzantium has stacked up a lot of units, as has Assyria, Egypt as well. This is so annoying. A few of them I understand, right? You could probably have 3 submarines here, or maybe a battleship and put a battleship in the cities, and then a couple of submarines so you can shoot out and kill any, invaders. But this many is just overkill. Come on, build them in the Mediterranean instead. It'd be so much better for you. But that will be, is that that hat, this hat of the Great War Infantry when I was zoomed out, and this looked like a pair of legs on the anti-aircraft gun, and I thought they had a giant death robot. So a bit early, Byzantium, but that was just a visual trick. But that will be it for this episode. As always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video. Be sure to leave a comment as well with some feedback. And be sure to subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.